naturally have, that's who you are. That's like part of your DNA, your fabric. It's what you're naturally inclined to be able to do. And I think the world intends for you to have those gifts and to develop them because they're yours. What you do with them is up to you, but the world is waiting for you to grow and nurture those gifts and produce something out of them. At that point for me though, going back into writing was an experiment. I was like going out there. I hated that question, what do you do? Because I'm like, I'm kind of figuring out what I want to do next, but right now I'm writing. This is what I'm focused on. And then something where I told you about not wanting to see my value through anyone else, another interesting thing happens when you decide to do that. You stop deciding to ask for anybody else's permission to do anything you want to do. So I remember going to this digital health summit. WAMDA had sent me there just to cover it, look at the trends in digital health, and I went there and like any curious person, go through the agenda, who's speaking, and I'm like, oh, this name, I know this name, I read about this guy. John Scully was the former CEO of Pepsi. He's the guy who invented the plastic bottles that we now see Pepsi in. And he's also the man that Steve Jobs famously courted to come to Apple back when he needed somebody older, wiser, with gray hair to, put as the CEO. And I thought, I have to interview this guy. I know they didn't send me here to do this. Nobody gave me permission to interview him and set him up for me. I may not even get this interview, but I have to try. And nothing daunted me. I remember walking up to his wife saying, hi, I'm Natasha. I'm writing for WAMDA. I'd like to interview your husband, John. Sure, great, here's 20 minutes. I was like, that was easy. Okay, now I have to actually do this interview. Like, this made the biggest interview of my life happen purely by chance. And I want to tell you, that's what opened a lot of other doors for me. So for me, it's always a reminder that when you're actually fearless, some of those decisions that you make in that moment, you decide, I'm just going to do this. And when it crystallizes, it just ends up creating this domino effect. Someone saw that interview, gave me more work. Someone else saw the interview, decided to offer me a full-time role, which I took for about a year because they let me do everything else I love doing. But things like that, I think, are interesting examples of the decisions you make in the moment that can unlock so many more possibilities in your life. I also think that we need to, more and more, our work is putting us into categories. And I was always this person who wants to defy categories. I was a girl who walked into Emirates Towers with hair like Tammy's, except I had a faux hawk on the top and it was red. And of course, in Dubai Holding, where like 90% of people are Emirati, but it didn't matter. I worked with people who knew what I was good at. But of course, I stood out in my own way. But here's the thing, when you decide to stand out, you get remembered. People remember you. They remember what it was like being around you, what it was like working with you. And more in a world, I think that, and work that tends to put us into categories. You're in accounting, you're in finance, you're in marketing. In the sea of sameness, we all need to find a way to stand out. This is why I think when you look at what's happening in the world of work today and why the gig economy is growing is that people are trying to find ways to stand out in their work. I want to have my own niche in what I'm doing. I want to pull together from all my different strengths and produce something like meaningful for companies. Companies are changing. You have giants like GE and Pepsi going through tremendous restructuring. The way that we look at organizations and corporations is going to change forever. Nobody said that companies are going to last with the exact business model that they have today. It's going to change. The way we work is going to change. And I think work in the future is going to compel us to bring our whole selves and step into the office, into whatever it is that we do. Bring your whole self to it. That was what I struggled with, I think, throughout my career. I enjoyed what I did, but I felt this is missing. So I'd go and find it outside somewhere else. And Dubai today, honestly, has a lot more options than it did maybe even 10 years ago. So if you really feel that there's something some box that your job isn't checking, go out there and find it in Dubai. I guarantee you, you will find it. You will find people you resonate with, and it will give you, I think, something else within your confidence or your energy that makes you feel good about yourself. It actually inspires you when you go to work, and who knows, it may open up other opportunities for you in the future. Something else that I want to leave you with, I think, when I bring this talk to a close, is that more and more we need to think about what makes us unique, and by that I mean what makes us the only. I have this mantra, don't be the best, but be the only. Like at whatever you do it in a way that only you can do it, because then they'll keep coming back to you. More and more the way we work just wants us to be like everybody else. And if you're going to stand out, if you want to be in the only, we need to defy those categories. The reason categorization in companies exists is because companies rely on structures, and structures need systems. You need categories so things function. But we're human beings, we're not systems, we're not machines. The reason categories are there is why we have so few women receiving venture funding, only 4%. When you bring in people of color, that becomes about 1.5 to 2%. That's why most of the world stages represent only women at 20%. So more and more our categories are limiting us. They're not enabling us to grow. Someone, Mariska actually, when we met, she walked up to me and she asked me, oh, hey, you're one of the speakers, what do you do? And I told her, I want to change that question. I would rather you ask me, like, who are you? So if you were to ask me, who am I? My name is Natasha D'Souza. I'm a business journalist, a growth strategist, and a speaker, and I believe in sharing the Asia success story with the world. So I'm going to turn to you now and ask, who are you? Ask yourself that question. What is your unique set of gifts that you want to bring to the world? The world may just be waiting for it. You may be surprised. What is it that you want to cultivate and nurture in the year ahead and give to the world? Tell me later, after this talk, who you are. I'm curious to know. Thank you.